No.
And it can take forever.
It can, which is, I think, one reason why planning is essential to the success of your business.
So when you say planning, what exactly do you mean by that?
Well, I think you need to set up, you actually need to do a marketing plan. What does that look like? Because as soon as you start your own business and your name is out there, you get people coming to you wanting you to advertise or to sponsor them or to sponsor something. And so I think you need to, if you have a plan, it's easy for you to pick what is the right vehicle for your business. Otherwise, you might spend money unnecessarily, and so that's really important. I think it's important to get your operational structure up, so that how are you going to handle the business that's coming in, and even before that, you need to define what is it you're going to be known for. What is it, is it that you're going to provide exceptional customer service? Are you providing something that nobody else in your community is providing?
Exactly.
What can you do to differentiate yourself from the other people that are in your industry or your competition? And so I think identifying those things up front and coming up with, how you're going to respond to that, how you're going to work your business into that structure is really, really important to the success of your business.
So having a real game plan or a marketing plan, as you say about, so what happens when you've got all this, neatly wrapped and tied, and something kind of, kind of
Which, by the way, happens.
Exactly. Go kafooey, and now you've got to relook. So I'm wondering if, yes, putting a marketing plan, a game plan together, but not having it set in stone.
Right.
That if if the market turns or downturns or, something comes along where it's just not a viable plan any longer, what happens then?
Well, I think you have to be prepared to change your direction, depending on what happens. You also, I think, need to focus on and really determine define what your business is going to be. Because I think what inevitably happens, and this did happen to me as well, is that, you start getting business from all different places, and some of the business might not be the business you want to be in for whatever reason it is, because it's not your specialty, or because it's just not an area you're interested in, or whatever the case may be. And it's very hard not to jump on those opportunities, especially when you're saying to yourself, I just need as much income coming in as I can possibly get.
Absolutely.
Because what happens is you start to spend your wheels and your time on these areas that you don't necessarily want to base your business on, and then you miss the boat on the areas that you do want to focus on.
Right. That's very true, because I know when you can get started in a business, you just want to grab everything, and you want to grab onto everything. Whether it's it's an opportunity to be out there, it's an opportunity to maybe make some money. It's an opportunity, and you want to grab onto things. And I think that's the time to not do that. It's just so tempting that you want to, and to sit back and then to strategize and to say, okay, is this really a flash in the pan, or is it something I'll be able to build on and parlay with? So those things do happen, and it's very hard to resist doing them. And even when you have the best laid plans, sometimes, what I say, you could be in the right church, but not the right pew.
Right, exactly.
And, you have to kind of go from pew to pew to figure out, okay, I'm in the right place, but it might not be exactly what I want to do. And allowing yourself that opportunity to move around and to say, this wasn't exactly it, but maybe this is. And to kind of play around a little bit until you find what connects with you.
I absolutely agree, and I think that you have to put aside what your family members may say, what your friends may say.
Definitely.
And you know what's best for you. And I mean, I think, and a lot of people say this, and I really wholeheartedly agree with it, especially now that I'm I'm my boss, is that you really have to have a passion for what you're doing. And if you find that your attention is going in another direction, you really need to explore that, because don't just stay in a business or keep your business one way because, well, I originally set it up that way and I've told everybody this is what it is, and so now I can't change. This is part of being an entrepreneur. You have the flexibility to make those decisions. What I love, probably most about owning my own business is that I'm the only person that has to make decisions. I'm the only person that has to give approval. You know, so
exactly.
And you can make quick changes and really move in the direction that your business is moving very quickly, and make maneuvers that'll help you become successful.
That's it's exactly true. And I think, again, going back to being flexible and adaptable, to not being hardened by the choice you made, and really wanting to, okay, this is it, I'm sticking with it no matter what, because that will not lead to success. But being able to look at all the options and move with, how the market moves and everything else moves, being able to move with the flow and being able to see, okay, this isn't working, what else is out there for me? And if the business doesn't work out, to be the first one to say, didn't work out, and now I'll maybe explore a job opportunity. And after spending a year in your own business, you've really learned a lot, that you bring something different to the party when you do decide, okay, I'm going to go back to the workforce.
It's true, and I think being your own boss is a tremendous learning experience. Because, and it goes back to us talking about, there are certain types of people that are geared toward, owning their own business, and some that are not. When you're your own boss, you can actually, drive yourself crazy trying to get things done. Or, you may not do enough to build your business. And so finding a way to manage that as well as still have a life, because I think one of the reasons that I went into owning my own business is so that I could have a better work-life balance with my family, and that is crucially important. And you need to identify, what does that look like? What does success in my business look like? What does success in my personal life look like? And then that is the basis and the foundation for your business that you start.
And talking about success, I think everybody has their own definition of what success is, and I think everybody has to define for themselves what success means. I think most of us who've been in the corporate world and done really well, we look at success as, oh, how much money can I make?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a factor. And sometimes you don't make the kind of money you made in your own when you worked for a company, but but you're doing what you love. So maybe that's what you base success on, is what do I like at this point in my life? I left the corporate world, I was a big cheese, I did well, I made a lot of money, but it didn't do it for me. So I was willing to give that up and to start something different, and with the understanding that, okay, I'm willing to take less money, I'm willing to do whatever, be my own boss, and maybe excuse me, put in more hours, but the picture is different. So it's about defining, what does success mean to me now? I know what it meant to me back then, but what does it mean to me right this minute?
Yeah, and I went through sort of an identity crisis, if you will, when I first left the corporate world, because when you have a title, whatever that title may be, and a staff and people that work with you, you garner a lot of respect, whether you deserve it or not. You do, because of your title.
Absolutely.
And then going, kind of being stripped of your title, if you will, is, it leads you to have sort of an identity crisis at first. And, I think that it's a good humbling experience, because you start to treat everyone like your customer that you run into on the street, versus really separating work from your personal life. As you go out and you see other retailers in the town that you're in, or you meet other people at networking events, and so I think that you tend to, everyone becomes a potential customer. So you sort of change your interaction with perfect strangers. And
that's just so true about identity crisis. The thing is, when we wear a label, you know, which you do wherever you are, that is who our identity is for a lot of people until you take that away and you're left with what I call, for what I do, core values of who you are, what's your foundation, which has no labels. You know, it's your labels and what you've determined. And, you know, as long as you can hold on to that, then, you know, leaving those labels behind, where so many people had all those labels, all those titles, and they fell from grace, and they have no idea who they are, and they have no idea where to go, because they based who they were on these particular labels that they had. So it's definitely, I think, a wonderful challenge, but a challenge nonetheless.
It is.
To go from the corporate world to go to being an entrepreneur. And if you're willing to, you know, ride the crest and, you know, be in the hill and the valley, and preparing for it, it makes the ride a lot smoother, I think.
It does, and believe me, there are a lot of great things about it. I mean, I'm very, very glad that I went in this direction and did start my own business. It's, you know, something that I've always wanted to do, and I like actually having a new career after 20 years. You know, so I've been able to have, you know, now I'm on to my second career, which I really love. You know, and we'll see how this business evolves, and maybe, you know, I can have a third career, you know, spin off of this as well.
I'm sure you might. You might have 3 or 4.
Maybe if I'm lucky.
For me, this is my last. I'm a coach, personal and business coach. And it does give me a lot of flexibility, and, you know, it might take another shape or another format as I move over the next year or two. But you know, I think we're all striving for something. We live in such a challenging world right now that I think there is so much uncertainty.
There is.
That even having a corporate job is not certain any longer.
No, absolutely not.
So having a you know, entrepreneurial business is uncertain as well. So it's very hard to, at this point, you know, I think you've got to toss a ball in the air and say, what is it you want to do? And what's going to be your passion, and what's going to make you happy?
Most definitely, because I think if you follow that, success will come, if that's what you follow. And I realize that sounds a lot easier than it actually is in reality. But, you know, with good planning and, you know, I think half the battle for people is that they don't even know what they want to do, and I think, I mean, I was like that for a long time, and I think that, you know, you just, you know, have to spend a lot of time thinking about it, thinking about what you're good at, and, you know, what you will be successful at.
And at this point, we're going to have to end the show. We're almost over. I want to say thank you.
Thank you for having me.
This very energizing discussion on entrepreneurship. It's been really great, and I've really enjoyed having you.
Great.
So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.